Hello, my name is Luna, and you're listening to Infinite Souls, a podcast for that real talk about consciousness, spirituality, and realizing our infinite potential. Mucho, mucho love and light. Hello, Infinite Souls. Welcome to another podcast episode. Thank you for being here. Happy Friday. So when you're listening to this, it will be Friday, and you will be getting ready for the new moon, which is coming up on Sunday, the 25th of this month. But the messages in this podcast episode are relevant at whatever time you are watching the episode. Whatever message is for you is for you, okay? Timeless messages here always. I'm feeling extra spicy today. Anyway, so this new moon is in the sign of Libra. Love a Libra here. I'm a Scorpio, but I love Libras, and my Mercury is in Libra. Anyway, enough about me, right? So the sign of Libra is the sign of love, relationships, and communication, and of fairness, wanting to be politically correct in the way that you communicate. So new moons are a time for release, a time for reflection, a time to go inward into the darkness, into the shadows, more of a calm energy. Set new intentions as well, reframe things. So putting those two together, you're going to be reframing or reflecting on your relationships, on your friendships, on community, on the way that you communicate and the way that you show up. And it's going to help you. It's going to be a very supportive energy. This energy is helping to create balance between what you consider to be your light and your dark, or the light and dark within others that you're going to be able to see very well within your relationships. So if somebody ain't treating you right, if somebody is draining you, you're going to reconsider how much energy you give for that relationship, right? And if there are some things that need to be cleared up in communication, you're going to communicate very effectively with the people around you, and you're going to be able to really understand each other, because that's what communication is. Many people don't know how to communicate, and they don't teach us in school how to communicate properly with people, right? So communication is not just about talking, it's about listening. Primarily, it's about listening, understanding the other person's point of view. You don't have to come to terms to the same point of view at the end of your conversation, but you have to listen to each other, because if you are already thinking about what you're going to say when somebody's talking to you, then you're not listening, you're not being present, you're not giving the other person even an opportunity, you're not being open-minded. And we love open-mindedness here in this show, okay? So we love this new moon. It's bringing clarity for us and balance. A lot of good karma, and it's really good because since we have like Mercury in retrograde, I think this is going to be a good little break for us in the communication side. So it's also going to make us reflect on our limiting beliefs about ourselves, because sometimes there are some beliefs that need to be cleared up in order for us to show up wholly in a relationship, fully, holistically. I don't know, you choose the word, but that's what this new moon is going to offer us. So I hope you guys enjoy your new moon. Personally, I, on new moons, like to take baths, spiritual baths. I make spiritual baths from all natural ingredients, organic ingredients. Some ingredients I actually harvest myself, or forage in the hills here in the foothill mountains where I live in Southern California. So if you're interested in a spiritual bath, you can go to lunaasheshop.com, which is Luna, A-S-E, shop.com. And just go click shop on the top menu bar. Then go to baths, and you'll find we'll have 6 choices for you. We have abundance, aura cleansing, so many more. I'm not going to tell you all of them. I want you to go look for yourself, okay? Anyway, that's what I like to do, because I like to cleanse myself, my energy, my auric field, and set new intentions and let go of things that may be blocking the intentions that I have for myself. So the only person that is blocking your intention is you, okay? So remember, there are things that you have to create space in order for new things to come in. You can't get a new couch if your living room is full of furniture. You're gonna have to get rid of something. And it's not like you're gonna go and be cutting people left and right from the team, like maybe you create some distance, maybe you set some boundaries, maybe you have a deeper conversation about how you feel, openly, speak up for yourself. This is another thing. The new moon is going to help us speak up for ourselves and really speak our truth, which I think is super, super important right now. So I think, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying what I do. Well, I set my intentions, I take my bath, and sometimes I light candles, like an intention candle. For a bath, usually I always have a candle, even if it's just like a scented one. And so I like to just reflect and take it slow most of the time. Although this time I feel like my energy has shifted. Like I was feeling tired on the new moons and very energized on the full moons. And now I think it's flipped. I think right now I'm feeling more energized coming up to the new moon. Who knows how I will feel tomorrow, because I am recording this pretty early. Okay? But woohoo for me, I'm recording it early. Okay, anyways, you gotta clap for your little wins, okay? So that's just me doing it for myself. Now let's get to our topic. I hope that you do enjoy your new moon, wherever you're listening to this in the future from my past self. Ooh, time is not real. The topic for today is, I bet you can't guess, victim mentality. Ooh. I honestly don't think that I've spoken about this before. It's taken me, I think, a while to understand it in a more holistic way. Now that I've studied a little bit more about trauma and how the brain and body process it and how it stays in your body, and the type of conversations that you have to have with your inner child when you have trauma like that, that's creating the victim mentality. And sometimes the victim mentality is something more surface level, but what is victim mentality anyway, right? Let's start there. So, what is victim mentality? I have some things written down here. Let me see. So, the definition that I wrote is victim mentality is a person who is seeking pity from others. Okay, seeking some type of reward, like to feel like they owe them something, either whether it be comfort, compassion, love, or something of money or something like that, right? But that gets more on the abusive side. But somebody who is seeking pity from others. Now, let's take the two words, right? Victim. Let's just take the word victim first on its own. That's someone who is taken advantage of. And that could be, you can take advantage emotionally, physically, but by another person or by some other force. So you are being taken advantage of, right? So that is the core belief when it comes to victim mentality. It's a mental state. So that is the belief that you are being taken advantage of. Now, whether you are actually believing this consciously, subconsciously, or you're faking the funk, then it's different, for everyone. There's a gradient. There's a spectrum to everything. Everything is a spectrum, okay? Everything. I truly believe so. So, why would somebody want to feel like a victim? Why would somebody want to feel victimized? Why would somebody look out to keep doing that? Well, a couple of things. So physically, let's talk about first physically what's happening. So physically, this individual received some type of dopamine hit from their brain when in some situation in their life, and whether in childhood, teenage, or adulthood, there was a situation where they felt like they were victimized, or they felt like their needs were not met. And the only time that their needs were met, or the only time that they did have attention, or the only time they were not victimized, was when they were actually vulnerable. So either you were sick, or that person was sick, or they were in a really bad place, or they needed some type of help financially. Those are all kinds of situations where a person would feel victimized. And if there's somebody there to help, and that person made them feel small and victimized after that, or only gave them attention when they were like that, then that will create some type of positive dopamine hit in your body. But it's like a false hit, right? You're like saying, it's like when you go on your phone and you get you get your validation from others, for example, right? So this comes from a feeling of lack, right? That's what's happening physically. But why are you doing it? Emotionally, mentally, the reason that you're doing this person, the reason that a person with victim mentality would be doing it, is because they feel like there's some type of lack within them or in their life. Or they felt that before and it's always stayed. And so let's say this happens to you in your childhood, like childhood trauma. Here's an example. Let's say your parents, your mom, you were never good enough for your mom or your dad. They never met your needs emotionally. They were never there for you when you needed them emotionally, or maybe they thought you were too emotional. But let's say when you did get sick, for example, you caught a cold, then they were catered to you and they were always there for you. So, oh, they're catering to me, this feels good. So a kid at that age, it continues to do that and continues to feel like, well, I'm only valuable if I am a victim, or people will only love me if I am in that victim position. And so that's what can create a victim mentality. Of course, there are many reasons, right? So another reason could be you have learned an experience. From your experiences, you have learned, right? And now it's created a belief in your mind. So let's say you had an ex. and they never gave you attention except when you were in need of something, because maybe they were a narcissist or something, and they supported you in some type of way where they made you feel small and they made you feel like it was your fault and they were the victim. And then you adopted that mentality. It could be something like that, you know? It could be that you have abandonment issues from an ex or another relationship or friendships or, you know, family. So there are many, many reasons why a person can adopt this mentality. However, I want to talk a little more about what a person is thinking. Not just why they adopt this mentality, but what they're actually thinking, what they're going through. Because we want to be empathetic to others and understand this, because sometimes they don't even know that they're doing it consciously. And this is another form of energy draining of others. Okay, and they don't even know that they're doing it, like an energy vampire. So what does someone who has victim mentality, what do they think? Well, some, maybe not all, but some may think everyone is out to get me, or everybody always fucks up on me, or everybody leaves me hanging all the time, right? So it's like external being done to you. What else do they think? Everything is going wrong. No matter what I do, everything goes wrong. No matter what I do, I never have enough money. Or I'm always sick. I can't work. So what does that sound like? It sounds like an excuse, right? But the excuse, why would somebody use an excuse? Well, because it saves them from taking accountability. So in reality, somebody who is playing the victim, who hasn't been victimized, is playing the victim, or is playing the victim for something really small all the time, like consistently, right? We know the difference between a real victim and not a real victim. But someone who is playing the victim thinks these things. Oh, everyone is out to get me. Everyone is out to get me. Because they don't want to take accountability. They don't want to take accountability for their own life, that they can actually change their own life, that they can be different, that they don't always have to be the victim. That life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. That is a mentality that has to be adapted for someone to shift, right? But they don't want to take accountability. They wanted to escape because maybe they had some type of painful situation in the past, and escaping was less painful. So there's many reasons, but let's see how we can adapt new thought patterns and shift this energy to serve us better in life, for us to have a better mental state. If somebody is in this victim mentality and you were just realizing it now, for example. So how would you change? You have to change first the belief, right? The belief that everyone is out to get me. So let's take that as an example. And we're going to make it into a positive statement. Okay? The positive statement would be, the universe supports me in everything that I do. And then you would say that new belief, the universe supports me in everything that I do. Everything I do works out for me. Everything I do is working out in my favor. Instead of everything is going wrong, you say everything is working out in my favor. Everything always works out. No, I don't know how, but it always does work out. At the end of the day, it works out. Spirit works it out. And you keep telling yourself those things, affirmations, positively, like they're happening right now. Even if you're not believing them full-heartedly, the more you repeat these things to you, to yourself, especially out loud. And the more you repeat these things, when you have a negative thought, catch yourself. First, you create the self-awareness to catch yourself with the thought. And once you create that self-awareness and you catch that thought, then you insert the new thought, the new belief. Okay, and you keep repeating. Repeat it at least, like, if it's something short, like 7 times. But if it's a long affirmation, then you can do like 3 times. But you want to be there for like 5 seconds or so saying these affirmations so that you can really feel the emotion. The key is to feel the emotion, and it may be hard at first. You may not be successful at feeling any emotion at first, but continue to do it, and I guarantee that it's going to work. Your new beliefs are going to start to override the old ones. Okay, that's how we shift and heal things here. Now, I wonder, because I had some time ago a friend who always played the victim. It was men were bad to her and didn't treat her well, right? And it used to bother me that this person was always telling me their sob story, right? It would really irritate me, because this person would tell me without me asking, because they knew that I was empathetic, that I would give advice to people all the time, and I used to that person. And so I would ask myself, why does it trigger me? Because triggers are teachers. And so every time I see or catch a trigger, I'm self-aware enough to catch a trigger. Then I ask, where is this trigger coming from? Why am I being triggered? And the trigger would happen, I realized, because I had a self lack belief, a belief that I lacked something, a belief that maybe things didn't work out for me either in relationships, that maybe, why don't I have a man? Because men don't like me. And then that's playing the victim from external, right? But that's not true. Like, once you start to love yourself and change those beliefs, then you can attract anybody, the right person, actually, because you'll be actually healed. So you'll be attracting a better fit, better match, more aligned. So if you feel like you lack something within you, or you're not confident, and you have somebody around you that has victim mentality, you're gonna get triggered, most possibly. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna get too much into when people abuse this and use this to their advantage on purpose, like people who are narcissistic, that are conscious of it, who just keep doing it, or people who want to gain power because of greed or whatever, selfish needs. They start to abuse the morality of others to gain a sense of power for them. So this happens on a more like intense scale. So I'm not going to talk too much about that, but that would be an example of what it is to be more extreme on this. But I ask you now, do you know anybody who has victim mentality around in your life? Do you feel good or bad when you hang around with them? And in what ways do you play the victim sometimes in life? In what ways are you playing the victim now? In what ways are you holding yourself back? Because when you hold yourself back, you are victimizing yourself. Ooh, that was good. So I ask you those questions. if we try to understand one another, understand why people can have this type of mentality, then we can be more empathetic towards one another and find peace. Maybe find peace on earth even, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? And I leave you with some inspiration to know that you can change your mentality wherever your mental state is right now, whether it is in victimhood, whether it is in oppression, whether it is in depression, wherever you are, mental state, you can shift your mental state to whatever you want it to be. You can get out of that victim mentality because the universe is working for you. Believe me when I say that the universe loves you and wants to see you grow and glow, honey, okay? Once you start adapting that belief, then you start noticing how the universe has always been there for you. You're like, damn, you've been watching out even when I was not looking, okay? So it's important that we do the things to change the things, if that makes sense, to be a better version of ourselves and to love ourselves how we are first and foremost, and then do the shifts that we want. Anyway, I love you all so much, and thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. If you've made it this far, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button if you're listening on YouTube, okay? And if you're only listening to my voice, I love you. Thank you for lending me your beautiful ears on this Friday. Mucho, mucho love and blessings to you. As always, mucho love. Bye.